Listen, you Malibu middle class Barbie piece of shit. I'm trying to work here. Work? You ever work? Yeah, I'll bet you have. Scooping ice cream to your shitheel friends on summer break. Well, I ain't talking about no goddamn White Sox with Mickey Mouse on one side and Donald Duck on the other. I ain't reading no funny books, mama. Our bodies come and go, but this blood is forever.
Hmm. There's a lot in that. Jeez. Is it Malibu's Most Wanted?
No, it is a horror movie.
Oh, it's a horror movie.
Yes.
Wow, I hear some metal.
Yeah. My ringtone. Some
Okay.
machine head, or not machine head, motorhead. Oh
Oh.
boy.
Old metalhead.
Some Triple H action.
Okay.
Me? No.
Let's break this down. So, they're obviously in California in this. Kind of is a, it's not like Natural Born Killers, is it?
No. It is from like 2003, I believe. If it's not 2003, it's in that time period. And I'll give you a metal song being my ringtone is kind of apropos to go with this movie.
Oh. Okay. California metal. Bang. I mean, what? So early 2000s. Is this a favorite movie of yours?
No, actually, Harold, I haven't watched this movie I definitely haven't watched it during Letterboxd, and I probably have not watched it 10 or so years before that. I've probably only seen it once, maybe twice. It is not a very comfortable movie to watch.
It's not a comfortable
And it's
movie.
part of a franchise. And it has sequels.
It's not Saw, is it?
No, it is not Saw.
Unless you want to give me any more hints, I'm tapped out here.
What about Thunder Kiss 65? Or Dragula?
So that's like Rob Zombie kind of stuff going on. So like Devil's Rejects or
Oh, you're close.
House of a Thousand Corpses.
There you go.
You and I have unfinished business.
Oh? And what's so stinking about it?
Non mi faccio il feeling. Spirit is something.
I think this just might be my masterpiece.
I'm just pulling out of the dark there. Welcome to the Average Joe's Movie Clubcast. It's Justin.
And I'm Joey. And just a heads up, we are going to discuss our full thoughts on these films. So if you've not seen a movie, please skip forward to avoid any spooky spoilers.
We saw a couple Halloween movies, so I guess this will be our Halloween episode as we get into a really gut-wrenching opera musical thing and a artsy metal steampunk Japanese
Travesty.
thing.
Travesty.
Travesty.
This is going to be... These are probably, together in one episode, the two wildest movies we've ever had on this podcast. Hands down. And definitely the wildest. I don't think we've had anything really that absurd since what? Gore Police, Tokyo Gore Police in season 1.
Yep, definitely some similarities between Tetsuo and Gore Police.
Well, they're both Japanese, and there's a lot of splatter. So yes, but yeah, I think this is going to be a wild one. So, and if you guys haven't already, it's a little bit ahead of time. We're recording before Halloween, but happy Halloween. Hope everybody's having a great spooky season. Watched a lot of great horror movies. Are going to have some fun parties and eat a lot of candy. And, you know, if you're a virgin, stay a virgin till after Halloween, and you'll live through all the slasher movies.
Was that oh, I thought you were that was a Hocus Pocus reference. A virgin.
Oh, well, yeah, that too. Hocus Pocus. I mean, stay a virgin, and like Sarah Jessica Parker from the 90s will try to sleep with you? Question mark.
So I've seen all of I think 3 or 4 horror movies this month. Not gotten barely anything in.
The roles are reversed. I'm the one having watched all of the movies. I think I've 27 or 28 horror movies down.
Oh, wow. Good for you.
So, yeah.
So how do you want to dive in?
So
you just want to go back and forth with a couple?
Sure. Before we do that, though, Justin.
Yeah.
How do people get in touch with us?
Oh, you can email us at theaveragejoesmoviclubcast@gmail.com, or we're on the X and Letterboxd. So yeah, just look for all that info in the YouTube background information, I guess.
Down in the comments, I guess it's in the information.
Yes.
Also, while you're on YouTube, to borrow a line from one of my favorite influencers, hit the things that make the dings, and then you'll get all of the notifications and all of that for when we have a new episode.
Oh, what podcaster is that?
Oh, it's just a YouTuber. It's from Elder Dragon Hijinks, which is a magic content creator. Is the name of the show. It's a play on Elder Dragon Highlander. Which is the main format that most people play casually, and it's Olivia Gobert Hicks and Alias V, and that's like their tagline. They said it on accident and then just keep using it. Click the things that make the dings.
Okay. For some reason, I thought of Magic the Gathering and all that spew of words you sent at me, and just randomly like Pawn Stars videos started popping up on my YouTube feed. And so, yeah, I've been learning a little bit more about Magic through Pawn Stars. So,
oh, Magic's so much fun. Speaking of Magic, you'll love this. So I know how much you love Marvel and how much you love a specific character from a specific group.
Okay.
I know how you feel about. I know how you feel about. I love how you feel about Logan.
Mm-hmm.
And they just made a Wolverine Magic card.
Oh.
In one of the universes beyonds. And they made Storm. So they made Storm, Wolverine, Captain America, Iron Man, and Black Panther. And then they have a whole Spider-Man set coming. But I already made a Wolverine list, and the whole time I kept thinking how much you would hate this because you hate Wolverine.
Don't hate Wolverine. I hate the hype train around him.
Well, you're not used to the hype train because you're not used to liking things that are the best. Carolina, Minnesota.
Okay, Cowboys.
Although Minnesota's good this year.
They're all right.
We suck ass. Boy, howdy do we suck ass. I don't know if Dallas could beat Clemson at this rate.
All right. So, want me to go first?
Sure.
Or did you start? I'm confused.
Where did I start?
You didn't say a movie.
Fine,
yet,
I'll
have you?
start.
Okay.
No. And you said, do you want me to go first? And I said, sure.
Okay. Then go.
Oh, I thought you were starting because you asked if you wanted to go. Okay, fine, whatever. I watched the entire, all 5 Purge movies.
Oh God.
Um,
What's the best
yeah.
one?
So
Isn't Kevin Bacon in one of them?
two and Kevin Bacon is in the first one.
Okay.
I think 2 and 3 are actually the best. Probably 2 is probably the best by a little bit over 3, but 2 and 3 both have Frank Grillo in them, and the rest don't, and that is a big selling point because he's a badass. And one of the greatest movie quotes I have ever seen on Letterboxd was from, I think it was from The Purge 3, and it was Frank Grillo needs to purge this pussy, and it was the greatest review I've ever seen. But
How many of them are there? There's 4 or 5.
There's 5.
Okay.
So surprisingly, this is a very consistent franchise as far as in quality, in my opinion. None of them are great. You don't have a series where you like Saw, where you've got like one amazing one, 2 very good ones, and 6 or 7 degrees of varying getting worse. You have 2, which is 2 and 3, which are better than the other ones, and the other ones are all still pretty good. They have a pretty clear message that they're delivering throughout. So yeah, no, I think they're fine. They're obviously a little more based in realism. You don't have your slasher, Freddy or Jason or a witch or anything like that. It's, a different kind of horror. Then the first one is a home invasion movie, so yeah. And I had a lot of fun with it. Definitely think it's worth checking out.
Cool. Yeah, I need to. Saw the first Purge before my Letterboxd days and haven't been back, so might be worth digging into. All right, yeah. So watched Thanksgiving, directed by Eli Roth. This is definitely your attempt to serve up kind of a very fun, brutal, but kind of dark, funny slasher kind of movie. It seems like ever since Happy Death Day, you can slap any stupid mask on and you can have a slasher villain. But yeah, this one's pretty quirky because the premise is this guy opens up his store on Thanksgiving, and there's it's going against family values and stuff, and there ends up being this murderous rampage at the store, and then the Thanksgiving killer takes revenge on some of those responsible or those acted selfishly during the events the next year. So pretty fun. It's on Netflix. Yeah, Thanksgiving definitely makes for a holiday slasher that's might be worth rewatching if you want to see some a bloody good time, I guess.
Yeah, that's actually on the watch list for me. I actually probably will watch that in the next couple of days. Also, that's one of the movies from the trailers in Grindhouse, just as an FYI.
Makes sense.
So, yeah. All right, so I guess I'll keep the franchise train going here. I've seen some more movies from some franchises. We got Winnie the Pooh, Blood Honey 2, Maxine, Quiet Place 2 and 3, Alien, Romulus. So I've banged through all of those. Winnie the Pooh was just kind of on a whim. So the first one is one of the most atrocious piece of shit I have ever seen. The second one is actually a pretty passable, it's not good, but a passable horror movie. But it's not, if you haven't seen the first one already, it's not worth it to watch the first one to watch the second one. Because it's just not good. But they do have a little bit of budget. And then there's Maxine, which is the last one of the Ty West trilogy. So Maxine is the third one. Pearl was the second one. And why am I blanking on the name of the first one?
Oh, X.
But anyway. Yeah, just X. Yeah. So Mia Goth's back. Halsey's in this one. So she's in LA. She's trying to become a movie star in a fake horror movie called Pilgrim. And actresses and stuff start dying everywhere. And gay people start dying, and I mean it's a pretty good slasher in my opinion. I think of horror movies that I had seen for the first time this year, I ranked it the highest in my yearly ranking. And then I also No, it was until Alien Romulus. Alien Romulus is like the perfect mix of Alien and Aliens.
Oh,
It's Alien until it becomes Aliens. So it's definitely got a lot of horror elements.
sweet.
The movie looks really good. A lot of practical effects. They did as many practical effects as they could. So especially for to be a movie that's set between 1 and 2, where you know that a lot of the stuff isn't really going to matter, it's pretty well done. And then I did The Quiet Places. Quiet Place 2 takes place right after Quiet Place 1. Cillian Murphy was great in the movie. I thought it was really good. It was not as good as the first one. The ending was very weak. And then A Quiet Place Day 1 just...
Blah.
It suffers from... It's a prequel to stuff that you already know happened. You know Lupita Nyong'o's not gonna... Spoiler, not gonna live. And it's just... The part of what made the first two good, this one loses when you start seeing, instead of just 1 or 2 of the monsters at a time, start seeing herds and herds and herds of the aliens. It just, I don't know, it just didn't do it for me.
Yep, definitely feeling that. Checked out Drag Me to Hell again, Sam Raimi. This is a fun little, I guess, curse movie, you would say. I really enjoy how well the character's set up with how she just wants to succeed, and she's just gonna, go against her better judgment one time, and that one time it ends up pretty nasty results as this old lady curses this girl and sends her on a pretty wicked ride all the way down to the depths. It was kind of fun watching this with my kids, and at one point she has a chance to get pass the curse to somebody else, but that doesn't exactly work out, and so it was fun to hear them squirm in their seats as that didn't take place. But gosh, he does enjoy some fluid horror, as like a corpse or something will land on somebody and like slime will drip all over their face. Pretty putrid. Drag Me to Hell, pretty fun time. It's good to see some Sam Raimi stuff that's not franchise material.
Fair. That's one I actually need to see. I've never seen it.
Oh,
And I
you
guess the
loved it.
last horror movie that I'm going to talk about today is probably the most non-traditional horror movie, because it's
Venom? Let
to
There Be
me is-
Carnage?
no. Although I hear that's horrifying for a different reason.
Never saw it.
No, this is to me this is like the most terrifying movie ever, and that is Fall. That's it, just Fall. And it's about these two girls that climb this fucking tall ass tower out in the middle of the desert. Because one of them, so the movie starts and
Spoiler
the
alert.
two girls are rock climb. Two girls start climbing rocks out. The movie starts, they're climbing rocks, and one of the girls is her and her fiance, or her and her husband, and the husband falls and dies. And then you go to a year later, and the one girl is still super depressed, and the other girl is like internet famous for like climbing stuff and that kind of stuff. And she tries to break the girl out of her, out of her funk by getting her to go climb this huge tower with her, and then they get stuck at the top, and then they have to try to get off the tower, and it's freaking terrifying because I'm scared of heights. So I thought it was great. Definitely thought it's worth checking out. Especially if you're in, you're scared of heights or whatever, it's pretty terrifying.
Interesting. The only other movie I had to talk about is I watched It Chapter 1 again. Gosh, this movie's so long, and it's so much like the sequel that I'm kind of getting tired of watching these movies. So many bicycles as they go around the curve. I mean, they're pretty well done, and they were kind of, especially the first one was kind of spooky whenever it first came out. But I think I need to take a few years off of it. My son's obsessed with it, so we end up seeing it pretty much every year. But I think I've had about enough Pennywise for the 2020s already. So,
Has he seen the original?
Yep, we've seen the miniseries as well. So, yep,
Because
we've definitely
that
seen all that
I haven't
dancing
seen.
clown. Oh, you haven't seen it?
I haven't I haven't seen the original. I've
I
seen
haven't.
the two that came out in what 2016, 2017, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed those. I thought those were very well done, but I haven't seen them in a while, and unlike you, I haven't seen them every year, so that's reasonable to kind of be burnt out on them.
All right, let's get into some feature movies with your Bloodfest first. Repo, the Genetic Opera, is a 2008 American musical film. Okay, described as a gothic rock opera. No, that's the phrasing I think I was looking for. The film was directed by Darren Lynn Bosman and based on the 2002 stage musical of the same name, written and composed by Darren Smith. The only person from the cast I care about is Paris Hilton, and unless you want to shout somebody out, Paul Sorvino.
Well, Sarah Brightman, an actual person who does plays. I can't think of the word opera. She's like an opera singer.
Okay.
Paul Sorvino, and then Anthony Stewart Head, who is famous from being Giles in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So,
all right, these fun facts. I'm a virgin too. Let's see what you got here. Oh, did you have something else?
Here. No, I mean, if you want, I can just read them. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, sure, go for it. Yeah, dish them out.
All right. So, director Darren Lynn Bousman was originally very much against casting Paris Hilton and didn't even want to give her an audition. He finally relented, however, and was impressed with her take on the role of Amber Sweet, and Hilton even went on to help raise funds when the movie was in danger of being shut down. It's also reported that when Paris Hilton was in jail for briefly in 2007, she spent time reading the script and rehearsing for when the movie began, and she actually provided a lot of Amber and Amber's entourages from her own personal clothing. The bulk of the film was shot digitally, but the flashbacks were shot on 16 millimeter to give them a grainy look. Sarah Brightman, who was Blind Mag, had already achieved Broadway fame with appearances in shows like Phantom of the Opera, but Repo was her first movie. And then Anthony Stewart Head, who is the titular Repo Man, had famously been a regular on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and it was their musical episode that convinced Darren Lynn Bousman to cast him as Nathan Wallace.
There you go. All right, so I had picked up this on DVD back in like my whenever I used to ravage used bookstores and pick up a bunch of DVDs. This was something that looked pretty cool. I grabbed it off the shelf. Never actually watched it though, so this was my first introduction to it, and this might be one of my least favorite movies you've ever picked up for the cast.
It's crazy that in a movie that so we mentioned earlier Tokyo Gore Police, and that was from episode way back in the season 1, back when we still did challenges. And I intentionally picked that movie for you, Tokyo Gore Police, because I thought you would hate it, because you kept picking all of these movies during season 1 that I fucking hated, and still now, but not near as much. And I thought you were going to hate Tokyo Gore Police, and you came out and had a stunning review and talked about how much you loved it and how it was this satirical masterpiece. Yeah. So we get to this. I'm like, all right, Justin's going to think it's an opera. It's hilarious. He's going to I didn't know if you would love it, but I at least thought you would like it. I was not expecting one of the least favorite movies you've ever picked. I guess, to be fair, Tetsuo, when we get to that, is one of my least favorite movies in the long list of least favorite movies you picked for me.
Has a very Sin City quality with these comics that kind of set up this very strange premise of essentially. So we're in this world where you can extend your life by getting organs, and but once you get the organ, you're pretty much under the control of Jinko, which controls the organs, right?
Yes, basically what it is like if you need an organ transplant, you can finance that organ transplant through the company Genco. But if you are late on the payments through Genco's power, they managed to get a law passed that made organ repossessions legal, and then they send out repo men to get them. And so the leader of Genco is Paul Sorvino. He has two kids. One of them, or he has three kids, two sons and a daughter. The one daughter is Amber Sweet, which is Paris Hilton, who played basically herself and was pretty good at it. Go figure. And then you have Pavi, who's the one son. He's the one with the mask, the skin mask on his face. And then you have the other son, who's like a homicidal maniac. Then you see you have a gravedigger character. He's kind of like the narrator throughout the movie, pushes the story along in certain places, but also is an actual character. You have Anthony Stewart Head, who is a doctor, but also you find out very quickly he is a repo man at night, and his daughter is very, very sick, and he's trying to find a cure to keep her from dying from the same disease that her mother died from. And that's the kind of the premise that starts everything going for this. And it is an opera, it is a musical, it is sung. Some of it not so great, and some of it also very great, but it's is a lot of tongue in cheek, but there is a lot of blood and gore from body parts and organs and stuff being cut out of people. There's also a drug that is made by Genco, but you can get the street version really cheap, but it's taken out of like the nose of dead people, and they never really explain how that comes to be, but they take it out of the dead people.
Zydrate or something.
Yeah, the Zydrate is the main, the real deal Holyfield. So, but it gets you. It's a really
gets you ready to go into the knife from that one of those last.
Yeah,
songs.
helps you get ready for surgery. Yeah, it's it gets you ready for surgery.
Oh, right.
So, yeah.
I guess part of the reason I didn't, it was hard for me to get through it just because it did make me quite a bit squeamish. Like it's weird. Like usually like blood in like on action movies, no big deal, or it's like flying around. But then when we start getting in our guts and organs and stuff, I was kind of having to blink my eyes a little bit throughout, especially one of the last times when they're digging in somebody's guts is not my favorite view of the anatomy.
Oh, a little bit squeamish, are we there, boy?
Yeah.
So you also then were squeamish for some of the shit in the next movie we're talking about. Then I take it.
That first
or was
scene,
it black and white, so it didn't.
That first scene was a little bit, but after that was good. This definitely okay. So rock operas. So we have like Rocky Horror. We have Hedwig and the Angry Inch. We have the Phantom of the Paradise. So all these movies feel very similar. Yeah, the surgery song definitely stuck out on my mind, but I guess I would have to probably listen to the music again to see if anything like really stood out the second time. I thought the music was pretty dull and was kind of stretching it out, but I don't know. What'd you think?
I like most of the music. Like it's not like one of those musicals where I'm
Fan
gonna sit there and
of the opera too. Sorry.
Like put the music on like my playlist or anything like Carl does. Carl will just randomly listen to the playlist. Like this is one of his comfort movies.
Comfort movie.
But like yeah.
Okay.
But like Blind Mag, which she is a classically trained opera singer.
Okay.
All of her songs were great because she is an actual opera singer. Cool. So yes, those eyes were cool. So she is Blind Mag, but she can see. She's had Genco gave her some eyes, and they had some extra shit in them, like they could record digitally and what have you, and that's what ends up leading to her demise. She is basically their slave to do the genetic opera over and over and over until the end of time, and if she decides she doesn't want to, they repossess her eyes, and that's a plot point near the end of the movie. The main other plot really that starts happening is
So the father, the guy who tried to save his wife, he's the guy who ends up being the Repo Man.
yes, Anthony Stewart Head
Okay.
is the Repo Man. So he's the doctor whose wife died. He tried to save her, but come to find out before. So you get like a little love story going on. You get these comic book flashback things. So there's a girl named Marnie, and she was with Roddy, who is the leader of Genco, and she leaves him to be with Nathan, which is Anthony Stewart Head, the Repo Man. And this is in the past before such a thing exists. She gets pregnant, but is also very sick. He goes to save her. The leader of Genco used his power to poison the medicine and thus killed Marnie. And then the cops show up, and then he used his influence again to basically enslave the Repo Man. Basically, hey, be my Repo Man for however long, probably forever, and you won't have to go to jail, and we won't tell your daughter. And so Roddy starts telling in the present now, starts telling the daughter who's 17, like, hey, I can save you. I have the cure. And, you know, she's like, I can't leave my house because I'm sick. And then you see her start leaving the house, and you start seeing the story unwind. And so you keep seeing repossessions happen, and they're really bloody and gory. And we learn that Amber Sweet, which is Roddy's daughter, is addicted to surgery and addicted to the street version of Zydrate. You find out he's dying, he's terminally ill, and even he all his technology stuff can't save anything, so he starts deciding who he wants to leave the company to. He doesn't want to leave it to any of his kids because they all suck. And so
what's up with Paris Hilton being in this movie?
What do you mean, what's up with it?
She
won the audition.
I know, but
and she plays a social debutante. Like, she plays herself.
True, yeah, and this
probably has to be
that scene towards the end where like we just see her like fleshy face like underneath the skin or whatever. That was pretty wicked. And then you have the guy that's like you kind of have like this hardened skin mask guy, which is kind of like the Phantom of the Opera.
That's her brother. That's Pavi, and Pavi gets laid. But he.
Oh yeah, he's talking about getting some. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all the time. All the bitches love Pavi. So basically, they're all like addicted to surgery and body mods and all of that stuff. So he's basically just wears a different like skin mask all the time, it seems. And even at the end, he wins the skin mask in the auction that fell off of Paris Hilton's face, Amber Sweet's face, and then he started wearing her face. All the time. The movie, I'm not gonna lie, the movie is weird, the movie is wild, but it is a lot of fun. We've got, Sarah Brightman like pokes her own eyes out and then falls and gets impaled on a gate. All sorts of like dismemberment and disbowelment, and yeah, it is bloody.
Definitely crossing tones between with whenever it acts all cheeky and so forth, and then really digging into the blood and gore with the steampunk edge in there too. So
oh yeah, no, it's definitely like a mishmash of a bunch of stuff. Like you said, like I haven't seen Rocky Horror or any of those other ones you mentioned, but I definitely could see where it probably had some Rocky Horror vibes. But like it's, I'm not gonna front it out there, but it's
the get up for the Repo Men, like the leather with the mask and stuff. It's on the cover, definitely.
The blue lights over his eyes
draws you in, makes you want to see what that's all about. Because the only other Repo thing I run into is I think it's just called Repo Man, with Emilio Estevez on Criterion. So it's funny that we got to this one first. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Just enjoy your blood and guts for right now.
I don't know what you're talking about, Justin.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with Emilio Estevez? He's the coach of the Mighty Ducks.
No, you're just gonna slam on Criterion for some old laughs.
No. I don't.
No?
I don't slam on Criterion. I slam on you. There's a difference. As a man who owns a lot of Criterions, why would I slam on Criterion?
Oh my goodness. Okay, it's me.
That's the joke, because if the joke is that if Repo, the Genetic Opera, was on Criterion, you would say that it's a masterpiece because it's in the Criterion collection. That's the joke.
Antichrist. Well, I could subject you to Antichrist, which is in the Criterion, which is a movie I've told you I did not want to revisit. So, come on now.
You could, and I could also, in the first time in the history of this podcast, refuse. Just saying.
You could.
Sorry, folks. The enjoy the banter between Justin and I. As we are trying something new with this podcast, if you haven't figured it out yet.
You talking about like in the grand scope, or just this particular cast?
This particular episode, we're trying something new.
Oh.
We are if y'all haven't figured it out, we are completely fucking freeballing this shit. Let's go. Outside of, like the fun facts. So where was I? Anywho, there's a lot of crazy, like, visceral deaths and all of that. But it is a crazy movie. It's wild. If you want something that is out there, I think it's funny. I like the songs.
Oh, Sweeney Todd. Sweeney Todd definitely rings a bell as well. With and we did that on the show too, in terms of a horror musical.
Oh yeah, that is true. We did do Sweeney Todd. I think, like, that's a little more straightforward, but I mean, because most things are. But yes, there's also some of that, with the murder and music and that, gothic feel to it. Because there's definitely that, like, gothic futuristic feel, like you said, steampunk.
Mm-hmm. I mean, overall, it's a very well-made movie with, like, good production value. It's just all the cutting made me squeamish, and then the music really didn't get me off. So because of those two things, I thought for the hour and 40 minutes it is, I thought it felt a little long. So, a rating.
That's fair. I'm not gonna hate you for that.
Probably 3.5.
Carl
would be fair.
Oh, I mean, okay. I mean, for you to not like it and give it like a 3.5 is pretty good. Well,
it made me uncomfortable. So it's hard.
So it did its job as a horror movie.
Yeah, there you go. Not in my particular way I prefer, but I like to be scared, not grossed out. But it'll probably make my cringeworthy bucket list, for what it's worth. Mm-hmm. It'll probably make it on my cringeworthy bucket list now.
Nice. I will give it the same thing that I gave it the first time I watched it. That's 4 stars.
Damn.
It's not perfect, but it's very good. And I definitely, like I said, think if you run across it somewhere, it's worth watching. Especially if you're a Buffy fan and like Anthony Stewart Head. All right.
Let's talk about the better movie of this duo.
Hold your fucking horses.
Tetsuo is way more entertaining than that blah bloody shit.
Entertaining? What?
Tetsuo the Iron Man is a 1989 Japanese science fiction horror film, directed, written, produced, and edited by Shinya Tsukamoto.
Tsukamoto, probably.
Kudos. All right. The film centers around an unnamed Japanese salaryman. I'm just coming fresh off this movie, and I haven't even read the wiki. What exactly I was watching. So, who wakes up to find pieces of metal sprouting from various parts of his body and becomes haunted by visions of metal-oriented sexual fantasies. As the man steadily becomes a hybrid of a man and a machine, he develops into a connection with a victim from a hit-and-run accident who is undergoing a similar transformation. Oh, interesting. That's what was going on with that guy. Fun facts. Was intentionally filmed in black and white as the filmmakers foresaw how disturbing the visuals would be. And they wanted audiences to do... wanted audiences to at least finish the film. This proved to be useful with rating certificates as well, since the blood would be difficult to decipher from the other objects. Yep. This is a very... muddled mess of stuff that we get to see in this movie, all mixed up in a Tetsuo. In order to show physical damage in the movie, they have to actually damage the apartment it was filmed in. There weren't any smoke and mirrors involved. They drilled a hole in the door to get the scene. Okay. Most of the filming happened in the apartment, where they decided to sleep there to save on travel costs. Yes, it's definitely a low budget movie. Let's see.
Something like $17,000.
Tomorrow Tagachi felt that the staff would experience cabin fever if they live in a tiny apartment over a long period of time, and decided to keep this distance to protect his relationship with Tsukamoto, as he predicted the staff started to become hostile and quit until the actors remained. Let's see. Also got into the filmmakers got into heated arguments over creative differences. As a result, they never collaborated again until after the Iron Man. All right. So I had heard, one of my early YouTubers I followed, Disregarding Henry, had made a really fun video about this movie called Colt Sandwich, and he was kind of describing the gnarly nature of this. And it's always been on Criterion Channel, and so yeah, I've always kind of been curious to check it out. And it's essentially a Japanese body horror, steampunk kind of mini kaiju film. So yeah, it's a wild one. It could even be seen even more wilder than Repo, the Genetic Opera. Okay, diving into this. Yeah,
Repo the Genetic Opera doesn't have a fucking drilling metal dick for large portions of the movie.
That was just one strong scene, and that was directly out of, or didn't Tokyo Gore Police lift that nicely?
I do remember them having an alligator vagina, in Tokyo Gore Police. Also, you want to talk about being fucking nauseous? The camera work, or lack thereof, anything holding that camera still, the whole goddamn movie. I don't get motion sickness, and I thought I was gonna vomit.
Oh, stop it! You're being dramatic. It's a little artsy.
No, I'm not. Oh my, you're over there. I couldn't handle some guts and everything, but this dude with his metal dick and metal everything else.
It's a metal rod that's spinning in a circle. It's hilarious. Okay, so we start off with this dude, and yeah, he seems like he's having a bad go of it, and so he jams a rod into his leg and begins this process of sprouting metal.
Why did he do that, Justin?
Because
why did he do that? Because why?
It's a statement of man and society. There's maggots on it, was pretty gross. I did squirm a little bit in that opening little pushing the metal into him scene.
And then the shaky cam starts, and it's not just shaky, it's shaky and it's jerky, and it's over and over and over and over and over. It's still shaking and jerking, and this movie was filmed 30 years ago.
That gives you something interesting to look at. I wonder what's up with this lettering on the grill. That was bookended it.
But I'm gonna be real. I've said everything that I have to say about this movie at this point. It's so bad, and then it's not even that memorable. And
what about when they're
yeah,
Iron Man fighting and stuff like little Godzillas?
I couldn't even tell that that's what they were doing. I thought they were fucking the whole movie.
There was
And I'm not even
a
being-
bit of
I'm
sensuality
not
in
even
there.
being dramatic or facetious. Like, I have no clue what the fuck happened in that movie.
A guy
None.
turns in metal and he fights his friend, and then he absorbs his friend, and then he says he wants to absorb the world. Pretty simple stuff, man.
Pretty. You know, I like this a lot better when it had Robert Downey Jr. in it.
Yeah, definitely a lot more bombs. This is a very sweaty film, very dirty film. Tetsuo the Iron Man. I think I should have dug up some actual like motivations for why they made this movie. You gotta love that blob of like metal, like well, I'm trying to think of like, you know, some of like the old like Muppets, like wasn't there like a trash can Muppet that like it's like, hey, I'm a trash can.
Oscar the Grouch?
Not Oscar the Grouch, but like I think in like the that's like Fraggle Rock. I think they had like a trash can like Muppet or whatever, or a trash monster Muppet, and kind of reminded me of this. That metal is very itchy. At first, I thought like, yeah. So there's Tetsuo, and then there's another guy, and they're both like turning into metal men, which is kind of the premise to most superhero movies, isn't it? This is the premise to Venom, just it's a lot artsier, right? You know, two guys get the symbiote, and then they collide and consume each other.
This is artsy. This is garbage.
Oh, stop it! You're being dramatic.
No, I'm not. This is garbage. This is one of the worst movies you've ever shown me.
This is somebody with a very, very low budget. Yes, they shaking the camera around for some effect, but I mean, you didn't like any of the body horror stuff?
No, I was so bored during this movie when I wasn't queasy from the fucking camera.
At least it's not a bunch of music that nobody could even follow. So,
I mean, I think everybody but you can follow it. So.
That generic opera movie, especially in the ceremony at the end when they're having like a fake performance or whatever.
Surgery.
That was so lame. Ooh, the hair! You gotta love the Japanese hair.
I mean, you would be the purveyor of knowing what's lame. Like I said, if Repo was on,
this seems so like
channel,
reversed to what we would normally be taught. Like normally, like the Japanese thing would be like, oh bogey, oh I love it, but. Because this little shaky. It's not Lars von Trier in the mean spiritedness.
It wasn't like in the Bourne movies where they're running and it's shaking. It's literally jerking up and down in like 360, and it's oh my god, This is one of the worst movies you've ever made me watch.
No,
it's not the worst. It's up there.
You can't call it. It's only just over an hour. You can't say. I mean, Army of Darkness. I mean, that had me. You clawing your eyeballs out. Like, when in the hell is this 3-hour thing going to be over?
Army of Darkness.
Not Army of Darkness. Army of Shadows.
Yeah, that's at least a fucking coherent movie. This is down there with some of the Lars von Trier shit you've made me watch.
There's definitely some abstract scenes, but I think for the most part, this is a very, simple story of a very horny man, getting his metal on and, getting in a collision with another guy with a similar problem. I'm now looking at the scene where there's a woman and she has some kind of like vacuum hose.
I would rather watch the French movie where the girl fucks the car and gives birth to a metal baby before I watch this again. Yeah, I would rather watch Titan again. And I hate Titan, so that should tell you.
I guess you enjoyed how they got around town in this movie, huh? Where they rapidly teleport or whatever.
That's where some of the camera shit was so terrible. When they were going through town.
There's a lot of like zit popping kind of like feel in here. Like whenever they're popping the metal and all of a sudden the blood goes everywhere. Yes, a very visceral movie with its fluids. So yeah, I can handle this kind of gross. Yeah. Repo, not so much.
Pussy.
Bitch. I just don't understand, Joey. This is the visceralness of the black and white and metal.
I'm going to ask you a question, and it's going to sound like I'm shit posting you, but I'm not.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you, I'm going to be dead serious. Would you have liked this movie if you had not heard somebody on a podcast talking about how great and amazing it was?
I probably wouldn't have gone out to see it, but I mean, I thought this was a hoot.
I'm glad, and I understand based off of the ratings on Letterboxd, which I understand is also a site, as much as I love it, full of a bunch of film bros, for better or for worse. I understand that I'm in the minority on not liking this movie, but I think for people who are
what did Carl think of it?
So this was the second time Carl had seen it.
Okay.
He is okay with it, but he said if he never watched it again, he would be okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah. But like, let's not try to front. This movie is weird as fuck.
Oh, like, for sure. It's
fuck.
Gross, and I don't know. It's just something about this guy turning into a.
I will say it did at least have the common courtesy to only be an hour and 7 minutes long.
Yes, it's exactly. Yeah, if it would have been any longer, it would have definitely outstayed its welcome. I can see where you're getting at with the shaky cam. I don't know. I just thought it was a more like interesting experience compared to. There's a lot of repetition in Repo, so I guess that's the big difference. So but yeah, he consumes the other guy after their little. Did you see the little thing at the beginning of the movie where it said like this is a mini or a small monster movie or whatever?
Oh, small kaiju or something? I do feel like I remember that, yes.
Yeah. Cool. All right, I would give Tetsuo, I guess a 3.5. I mean, I don't mind there not being any story. It's just kind of this visceral thing. So, and you gave it a 1, right?
I gave it a 1. I did not go to half. It's not down there with some of those, but it is. I was not a fan, if you couldn't tell. This would never be a movie I would recommend to somebody. This would never be a movie where someone was like, hey, I want to watch this. I would be like, I'm going to watch it with you. It would be, no, you're watching that by yourself. So.
And I think in most pairings of movies, I was actually able to do these two off the cuff just because they are so short and similar throughout. I mean, Repo is, you get the killing and the singing and the characters and the scene, kind of the production design, and then Tetsuo is kind of its own little package. So,
and they're both, yeah, and both are pretty. I mean, like, there's a big difference between Repo's low budget and Tetsuo's low budget. You know, like 17,000 for Tetsuo and $8.5 million, I think, which doesn't sound like it sounds like it's a lot, but that's not a lot of money for a movie. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, they're both, on the cheaper end, especially compared to a lot of other things we've done. But
all right.
Well, what you got for us next time, Justin?
I don't know. What'd you pick?
Whoa, wait. Are you waiting to see what I picked before you choose your movie? Is this what we're doing? Are you trying to counter pick me or something?
Snipe you? I guess it could be seen like that.
Are you? All right. So I picked a movie. Me and you have both seen this movie.
Okay.
But from what I can tell, neither one of us have seen this movie since we started Letterboxd. You have watched it, but you don't have a review on it. So and it has nothing to do with the quote. I did the quote because it was Halloween. It has nothing to do with the quote. We're gonna get our fucking Chris Nolan on. We're gonna watch The Prestige.
Oh, sweet. It's been too long since I've seen that. Saw that whenever it first came out on Blu-ray and haven't got back to it since. So
I loved it and have
gnarly.
not seen it in a hot minute,
Mhm.
and figured it was time to give that another go.
All right. Jeez.
All right.
Now the question remains, what should we do with the other half of this? Because, I mean, we were in, let's see, we did those 2 theme
Oh.
months.
Let's say balls out. Pick The Illusionist. Let's go.
No. Yuck. No.
I don't remember. I remember liking it.
Edward Norton,
Not
right?
as much as The Prestige.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's Ed Norton.
Yeah.
You don't like the Hulk? Yeah, that'd be fine because that movie would have the Hulk, and then this movie has Batman and Wolverine and Black Widow.
You're
and
getting
the
yourself
Butler, Alfred.
you're getting yourself all excited for nothing. Oh, I'm gonna take a look at your watch list.
Oh God. Well, I'll fill some time while
Shark
Justin
Boy and
looks
Lava
through
Girl.
my crazy watch list. I don't remember why that's on there. There's all sorts of shit. You'll find some weird ass Japanese shit in there. You'll find a bunch of random shit. Yeah, have fun. I apologize that we seem to be completely disheveled here. It's kind of had to get thrown together at the last minute. Like we had planned to do it today, but some things ran behind, and we kind of got filming. Kind of just shit happens. We made it happen. We're here, making sure this episode gets out in time for you for your holiday goodness. But if you've ever seen either one of these movies, like we said at the beginning, hit us up on our Letterboxd reviews or down in the comments and tell us what you think. Tell me how I don't know art for not liking this quote-unquote artsy Japanese body horror movie, or tell Justin how he's dumb for not liking this gothic rock opera, or tell me I'm stupid for liking it. Whatever, we want to hear from you guys. Engage the algorithms. Help us out.
Engage the algorithm.
Hopefully you guys are going to be excited to listen to The Prestige. Or not listen to us talk about it. Maybe you guys also let us know if you watch the movies ahead of time. If you listen every episode, if you watch the movies ahead of time, so you can be prepared to hear us talk about them. Just anything. It would be cool.
It's all right, Joe. You don't have to spew out a million words a minute. Infernal Affairs. You got that box set, right?
I do have the Infernal Affairs box set, yes.
Looking at some of
I
these
only need to see the
newer
third one.
criterions. All right, I think I'll do you a solid. So, in season 2, you wanted to do musicals, and I gave you a Lars von Trier musical. And one of my favorite films now just happens to be a musical, and that's Fiddler on the Roof. Have you seen it?
I have not seen it.
Okay. It is a delightful little Jewish, Eastern European story that, we can do for... I was really thinking about Trains, Planes, and Automobiles, but... You want to do that as a bonus? Have you seen that one before?
Nope, I have not.
Oh, wow.
You can keep that in your back pocket for another episode, or if you ever want to do a theme episode again or something.
Well, it's a Thanksgiving movie, so maybe I should... Should we go with the comedy or the musical? What do you think?
I mean, if it's a Thanksgiving movie, we could do that. My problem is for Thanksgiving movies, it's like, well, I can't pick Thanksgiving and I can't pick Thanksgiving. So And no one should ever watch Thanksgiving 3 because that's horrible. So yeah, you tell me.
It's interesting because I mean, like when we first started the show, like it was all about like, oh, I want to expose Joey to all these art films, which we saw how Tetsuo went. So I think at the end of the day, I mean, this is like our like collection of like us talking about, you know, crazy movies and random movies and our favorite movies. So got a couple of my favorite movies collected so far. So both of these are definitely need to be talked about. So yeah, why not do Trains, Planes, and Automobiles, the quintessential Thanksgiving movie, along with my phone's talking to me.
Your phone is talking to you. Do you hear voices in your head?
I am. Oh my God! Shut up. I guess it was the Giants and who else is playing on Monday Night Football tonight? Giant.
I mean, no clue. Generally don't know. So, I know Dallas got their ass beat yesterday. I know that Washington won on the last second.
Yeah, that was wild.
Detroit beat the fucking brakes off of Tennessee. Beat the brakes off of them. So,
what'd you pick again?
the Prestige.
Prestige in Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. A fun pairing as usual. So, Joey, why do we do this show?
Because we love talking about movies and talking shit to each other about our opinions on them.
Which I have a lot more room for whenever I'm not reading off my previous thoughts and just going with what I have in the moment. So, good slicing it up with you and pulling out all those gooey organs.
And then shoving in metal bolts in their place.
Sexy. Night, everyone.
Peace.